Okay, let's give you guys some more practice. So the equation for this plane here is given by this. So come up with the equation for this plane, which is parallel to our given plane. So this plane here is parallel to this one here, and this plane here is also parallel to this plane here. Come up with the equation for this plane. Come up with the equation for this plane which passes through this particular point. Which passes through this particular point. So the equation for the middle plane here is given by this. And don't forget, this point here is floating in 3D space in the middle of nowhere. So your grid will be somewhere here. The origin will probably be somewhere around here. So this point here is floating in the middle of nowhere. Come up with the equation for this plane, which is parallel to your given plane, which is parallel to this plane. So come up with the equation for this plane. Okay, so press pause and have a go. Okay, so to do this, set up our general point here. So this is our general point. We need to somehow come up with this vector here, and to describe this plane, we demand that the dot product of this vector and this vector to be 0. We demand that the dot product to be 0. So that's how we would describe this plane. But first we need to come up with this vector here. Remember, this point here is floating in the middle of nowhere. So the origin is here, is floating in the middle of nowhere. So we need to extract this vector here. So to extract this vector, we would get this, take away this. So currently, in the x direction, we are at 5. How would we get from here to here? So hang on, let me go back one step. We are currently here. We need to extract this vector here. So we need to travel from here to here. So we are currently at 5 in the x direction. How would we get to here? So we would need to get, well, if you look at the x direction, we are currently at, so this is 0. So we are currently at 5. Well, but we need to get to the general x direction. So let's say x is here. We are currently here. We need to travel to here. So this distance here will be given by x take away 5 will be given by this. So now looking at it in the y direction, we are currently here. How would we get to here? So in looking at it in the y direction, 0 here, we are currently at 1. How would we get to the general point y? We need to travel this distance. So this is really y take away 1. So it's really y take away 1. So it's really y take away 1. So to get from here to here, in the y direction, we would need to move this amount. And then now we are currently at 4. How would we get to this? So in the x direction, sorry, in the z direction, 0 is here. We are currently at 4. Let's say 4 is here. We need to get to our general point, z. So we need to get this distance here. So this distance here is given by z take away 4. It's given by z take away 4. It's given by z take away 4. So this vector here is given by this. And the normal vector, well, if the equation for our plane here, if this is the equation for this plane here, to extract to the normal, then we would just get 1, which 1, and then 1, and then -2. So remember, because all these planes are parallel, the normal vector for this plane will be the same as the normal vector for this plane, because all the planes are parallel with each other. So the normal vector for this would be the same as the normal for this plane here. So it would be the same as the normal for this plane here. So the normal vector, this normal vector here, is given by this. So to describe this plane, we would demand that the dot product of this vector, and the normal vector to be 0. So we would make this demand. So now let's compute the dot product. So the dot product would be this times this, plus this times this, and then plus this times this. That would then give you this, and then multiply it out, clear it up. That would then give you this. So we demand this whole thing here to be 0 in order to describe our plane. So now uh, uh, a single number on its own, single number on its own, single number on its own, throw everything on the other side, leaving you with this. So this is our equation for our plane. Notice that this is a normal our normal vector here. Okay, so this is our normal vector. This is our normal vector. Okay, this is our normal vector. Just bear that in mind. Okay.